A shout out to the businesses taking a walk on the wild side with us: Petersen Plumbing and Heating, QCA Pools and Spas, and R&R Sports. Nature is awesome. From big to small, there's so much adventure, from the deep and dangerous wilderness to your own backyard. We take you on a journey inside a world like you have never seen.
Right there. Oh.
An inside look at what it takes to preserve, rehab, and respect our wildlife.
There it is again.
And just what nature photographers are willing to put themselves through to capture and share the beauty of our natural world for all to see. That's wild. Let's go. Ready for this? Badger takes a bath. Some of the cutest animal pics you may ever see. Our rescue and rehab friend Sarah Geiger captured these moments. A baby badger discovered all alone on the side of the road. The rush is on to get him to a safe place. Tammy and Jim, aka Raptor Man from Hog Capital Wildlife Rescue and Rehab, take the call.
So how do you go about rescuing a badger? How did you get him?
I just walked up to him and picked him up.
Wow. People think of badgers, and they are in the wild, they can be quite dangerous.
Yes, absolutely. But, I mean, he was maybe 6 weeks old. All he had was milk teeth back then, so he wasn't any big danger. Otherwise, I mean, he could have nipped or something, but just a regular pair of gloves, just walk over and pick him up, just, by the nape of the neck.
This is Mr. B when he first came in. He put those milk teeth to use, both on the bottle and on the fingers of Jim. Was helping Tammy do a wellness check of sorts to test his strength and overall health.
Grip is crazy on his hands.
It's a good thing he's just playing. I'd hate to see him when he's angry.
This is the perfect time for a good reminder: don't do this at home. While he looks like he's fun to play with, his jaw bones are connected to his skull, so he can't twist like other animals, but his bite is really strong. And even though he looks healthy here, Mr. B is not getting the nutrition he needs to survive. He needs to eat something with more substance, and he needs it soon. Tammy has another trick up her sleeve.
Hey, I noticed that you had to start feeding him, trying to get the nourishment back up pretty quick, right? That's so important in the first early hours and days that you rescue an animal.
Absolutely.
What did you give him and why?
Well, first we always start off with Pedialyte. We make sure they're warm, and that was April 26th. So it was a little cool, so we had to get him warm first, then start him on Pedialyte, rehydrate him first, then you go to formula and start from there.
And I think I saw that he had kind of a special meal that looked good to me, actually. Scrambled eggs? Right?
Oh, he loves scrambled eggs. And now he eats hard-boiled eggs, and sometimes I'll give him a whole hard-boiled egg and he'll eat it. Oh, yeah.
Now, part of the concern about giving, if you will, wild animals so-called people food, although eggs is pretty natural and they could find that in an environment, just maybe not boiled or scrambled. But for cautionary purposes out there, people should not be generally feeding wild animals.
Absolutely not. It's not good for their digestive systems at all. And especially people don't understand that if you take in an animal that's injured or cold or sick, if you start trying to feed them right away before they're rehydrated, it can actually kill them because their body's not ready to digest. That's more stress on their body.
And in terms of handling, I mean, you guys have a lot of experience and a lot of training.
Absolutely.
So no one on the side of the road should stop and pick up a badger.
Oh gosh, no. No, not at all.
Their eyes are like humans.
That's because underneath this sweet exterior, badgers can be quite, well, let's call it aggressive. And as Mr. B ages, this will grow more and more intense and dangerous. He belongs to the same family as otters, ferrets, weasels, minks, and yes, wolverines. You see these claws? Perfect for digging and defending itself. They live underground in burrows they make known as setts. And interestingly, they don't use the restroom in these homes. Instead, they dig latrines or communal toilets or shallow pits to do their business. Outside, kind of like an outhouse. A quick check of his habitat with photographer Jay Wolf, who made a rare find here just a few weeks back.
All right, so we had never seen a badger in person before. But now we want to see if we can find one in the wild. Jay Wolf apparently is sitting on one right now, and we're going to pull up and see what he has in store for us. Here we go. So who told you first about this
Good
area?
friend Steve Petersen gave me a call and told me that you're not going to believe what I just saw. And Steve is one who, I know he saw it. So if I'm somewhere photographing, somebody like Steve calls, I'm going there because I know it's there. They're very temperamental, hard to trust. You just never know. They're vicious. They're strong. They really don't have a predator. As many years as I have been in the outdoors, Gary, one hand I can count how many badgers I've seen in the wild.
They're hard to spot, even though this one happens to be on the side of a country road.
And if you look at the hole, you can see why. It's very simple for them to dig right into the side of this hill. The male is the bigger animal. They can have up to 3-inch front claws. You wonder how they can dig and be so vicious. Their front claws can be over 3 inches and they're razor sharp. They can have 3 to 5, they're called kits, like a fox. I've seen 3 dens in my life, and all 3 dens have had 3.
What about eating? What do they eat?
They are kind of a scavenger. Gophers, mice, squirrels, and believe it or not, they'll go out. We got a big cornfield behind us. They'll go out in that cornfield and dig in the dirt for grubs, worms.
They are most active at night and rely on their great sense of smell to make up for their poor eyesight and hearing. So they are rare to see out here in the daytime, so let's go back inside. We have more cool stuff to see up close. Back in the rescue rehab facility, Jim is working to earn some trust, bonding like only he can. It's all fun and games for this little guy at this point. But now comes the problem with hand feeding and caring for a wild animal.
So you talked about some of these animals getting a chance to go back home to their natural environment, their natural habitat, or a place where they'll be safe, right? Because not all animals can be returned to the wild.
Correct.
And one in particular, Mr. Badger here, is very used to people now. Is that a problem?
That can be a problem in the wild if he walks up to someone, because, you're allowed to kill 2 of them a year. If he walks up to somebody and he's viewed as a threat, they'll just kill him. They'll just out and out kill him. So he's going to go to a new home today. He's going to Wildlife Prairie Park.
So how do you get them ready to go to a new home?
Well, it depends on if they're acclimated to humans, then it's not going to be a problem to take them to a sanctuary. But if you're getting ready to take them for release, that's a whole new ballgame.
So today, what are you going to do? What are you doing to get them ready?
He's going to take a bath.
He's going to take a bath?
Yeah.
Because you don't like animals going here without taking the bath first.
Well, yeah, we don't want to take him to a sanctuary without a bath, because they're stinky.
So we're going to see a badger take a bath.
Absolutely.
So back in the cage, back to work, we have a badger to bathe. Well, Jim does.
Hey, Raptor man, what's the secret to giving a badger a bath?
You gotta get him out from underneath the first.
You got to get him out first. So he knows he's like a kid here. He knows it's bath time. He's like, you're gonna have to work for this.
Now, mind you, he started out at 2.5 pounds when he came here.
2.5 pounds, and how much does he weigh now? Do you think? 13, 6, in just a matter of what, weeks?
So he gained 11 pounds in 8 weeks.
Wow. 11 pounds in 8 weeks. So you need a bigger bathtub now than you did before. And stronger hands. Raptor man, what's the secret to giving a badger a bath?
Keep your hands away from his mouth.
Keep the hands away from his mouth. And I imagine those claws, if they call them claws, are dangerous as well.
Actually, they're not that bad on his claws. I mean, he grabs you with them and hangs on.
And most of the time, Jim never takes his hands off the nape of his neck either
Okay.
to control it.
Yeah. And those claws are mostly for digging, I assume, and foraging.
It's like giving your dog a bath.
Only my dog won't take my finger off.
Lather, rinse, repeat. And then
And that's how you give a badger a bath.
And that is how you give a badger a bath.
we're not quite done.
Now, do you use a blow dryer to?
Hand towels.
It's time to towel off. Mr. B, the badger, at first wants to escape, then decides to play around with the towel. Why not? The chores are done. It's time for a little fun and games.
He loves a good game of tug of war.
Yeah. Very playful.
But now it's kind of an emotional time. It's time for him to go. Mr. B's bags are packed and he is off to be with other wild animals.
See you later, Mr. B. Have a good trip.
Another successful rescue and rehab, and a rare chance to get a close-up look at the life of a badger. That's wild. Let's go.